A lot of airport security measures are the result of specific security breaches in the past. Taking off your shoes, for example, that became a new feature of airport security when this man, Richard Reed, tried to turn his grody shoes into grody shoe bombs on a flight from France to the U.S. That was 2001. Thankfully, the only thing Richard Reed achieved was making us all have to think harder about what socks we are wearing while we are traveling, since everybody in line with us at security sees our socks now. We also can't take more than 3-ounce containers of liquids or gels in our carry-on bags when we fly anymore. That new rule was put in place after British authorities uncovered a plot in 2006 to bomb U.S.-bound planes using liquid explosives. Then Christmas Day 2009, the would-be underwear bomber got law enforcement thinking more seriously about travelers' underwear and the dangerous things people could hide in their skivvies. And ta-da, the full-body scanner, which was already in existence, became very, very popular at airports around the country. The Transportation Security Administration just purchased 300 more of them. Even the most basic baggage screening, which feels like it's been around forever, was the result of a giant security breach. It started with a prison break. A man named George Wright escaped from the Bayside State Prison in New Jersey in the year 1970. Mr. Wright stole the warden's car and drove it to Detroit, where he successfully evaded law enforcement for 2 years, in part reportedly while working as a model. After 2 years in Detroit, George Wright and 5 accomplices were able to hijack a Delta Airlines flight departing from the Detroit airport. Back then, bags were not screened, and so Mr. Wright, dressed up as a priest, smuggled a gun onto the plane in a hollowed-out Bible. Seriously. George Wright and the other hijackers held 88 people hostage on the plane. They flew the plane to Miami and demanded $1 million ransom. They got that ransom in return for releasing the hostages. They had FBI agents bring them the $1 million while dressed only in bathing suits, so the hijackers could be more sure the FBI guys were not carrying guns. See? Unbelievably, the hijacking and hostage-taking worked. After refueling in Boston, George Wright and the others flew to Algeria. The president of Algeria welcomed them after relieving them of their $1 million ransom and let them stay in that country. Over the years, George Wright's accomplices were all rounded up and arrested in various countries, but George Wright always managed to escape capture. But just because you remain on the lam for years or even decades does not mean that the agencies that wanted to catch you before just one day stopped looking for you. Agents may retire, but you, as a wanted man or woman, you stay wanted. And this year, I don't know why, but this year has been a very bad year for the wanted and a very good year for the people charged with hunting them down. Osama bin Laden, for example. On May 1st, Navy SEALs, including some members of the elite and storied SEAL Team 6, raided bin Laden's compound in Maddow Bad, Pakistan, and killed the FBI's most wanted fugitive. Later that same month, Ratko Mladic was captured after 16 years in hiding, living in Serbia under an assumed name. He is believed responsible for the Srebrenica massacre in Bosnia in 1995. He's now at The Hague facing genocide charges. Getting Ratko Mladic meant there was only one more fugitive wanted for Bosnian war crimes. At one point, there were 161 of these guys outstanding, but by May of this year, only one was left, still wanted on the list. And then in July, they got him too. Goran Hadžić. He had apparently run out of money after 7 years on the lam. They caught him when he was trying to sell a stolen Modigliani painting. This one, Portrait of a Man. And if that wasn't enough, this summer the FBI got the guy they wanted most after Osama bin Laden, a guy by the name of Whitey Bulger. Whitey Bulger wanted for 19 murders, wanted for 16 years. They caught him in California. And then today, to top that all off, George Wright. George Wright on the run for 41 years. The FBI, U.S. Marshals, and officials from the New Jersey Department of Corrections tracked Wright to Portugal when he tried contacting family in the U.S. Portuguese authorities arrested him, and he's now being held without bail. So think about that. In less than 6 months, Osama bin Laden, the last 2 Serbian war crime suspects, Whitey Bulger, and now George Wright, wanted for 40 years. Bad year for fugitives. Good year for fugitive finders.